Well, that's exciting.
So we're all talking about
all right.
eating and drinking and all that good stuff. So
make sure you get your water in. Make sure you eat on time. Don't worry about being sore. You drink your BCAAs. We could go on and on for this, but we won't talk about that just yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're good?
That was good.
All right, so hi, everybody. I wish I, but I can't because I'm on my phone. So I'm Kim Parker. Nice to meet you all. I'll start off with a brief introduction of who I am. I am a single mom
1 second.
of
Christy,
two kids.
Christy, record, please. Go ahead, Kim.
Josh, hold on. My children are in the background. I might have to move.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk. You guys are gonna walk with me.
They won't follow you around like mine and like.
Well, they might actually.
Their iPads.
So I'm gonna move up here. I'm sorry, guys. They're teenagers. If you guys have teenagers, you'll know that they don't like to give you much space. So, all set now. All right, so we're good to go. So I'm Kim Parker. I'm going to talk while I move. And I have been with Beachbody for 7 years now. It will be 7 years this April. Okay, we're good now. All right. So 7 years this April, and it was a huge, huge, huge lifestyle change for me. So to let you all know, I am a single mom of two kids. My oldest is now 18. My youngest is now 15. I became a mom who was pregnant at 20. I became a mom at 21. I was divorced at 24, which was not easy. To give you a little bit of history on my childhood, I had great parents. I have great parents. I have a great sister, great brother. But I was kind of the black sheep. So I was teased tremendously in school. So my confidence was never that great. Hung out with the boys, did sports, all that, but was teased. I was fully grown by 6th grade. I was 5'9", full development, you name it. So I was teased tremendously by the boys. My last name is Parker. It got so bad that someone had written on the back of all the backboards at school on the basketball hoops, Kim Parker, and put signs up. I was beaten up. I was gang beaten by a group of kids on the street. I was held down and stuffed snowballs with sand in my eyes, all because I was different. I wasn't the, everyday girl. I was a tomboy, and people didn't know how to deal with that. The last straw was in the 8th grade when I was in a science class and had a chair pulled out from underneath me and broke my tailbone and had to sit on a donut for about 6 months before it healed. That was my last straw of me being bullied in the little town that I grew up in. And I left there and went to a private Catholic school. And the reason why is because I didn't want to live anymore. In the 8th grade, I thought about suicide for the first time. I didn't want to be around other people. I was extremely disconnected with kids in general. I didn't have any friends. The one girlfriend that I did have, she was also teased right along with me. So I thought that if I changed environments, that things would help. Well, unfortunately, I went to an all-private Catholic high school, and if anybody's ever been to a Catholic high school that you actually have to pay for, it's very cliquey, and I didn't fit in there either. Even though I was an All-American volleyball player, it just wasn't school. It wasn't high school. I didn't go to prom. I didn't have any dates. I was still teased then. So high school and school was a really difficult thing for me. And when I met my ex-husband, we did get married, I fell for the first thing that paid me some attention. And anyone that has ever struggled with self-confidence or rejection or the failing of not being loved and not knowing who you are as a person, as soon as that one person, whether or not they're good or bad for you, pays you any type of attention, you're going to suck that up and think that it's great, even though it's not. You will make every excuse for that person. You will let them treat you poorly. You will let them hurt you physically and mentally. And I was abused both ways, both mentally and physically, by my ex-husband. And you will basically ruin your whole life for them. You will lay everything down and go with it. So that's what happened. I met my ex-husband. He was not a nice person. I became pregnant at 20. It was not obviously something that I was expecting to happen. It derailed my life. I was planning on going to medical school. That didn't happen because I had my child. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you could have still done it. I'm sorry, at 20 years old and being pregnant, you're not going to medical school. It's just not happening. And it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. He was hung up and caught up in a lot of things. He was thrown through my bay window one time by who knows and God knows what. But I came home to him being on the ground and my entire window being blown out. My poor son witnessed abuse at a very young age. I was demeaned. I was yelled at. I was hit. I thought that it would be a good idea to give my oldest son a sibling. It was a very brief moment. It was a one time, maybe I should do this. Well, I got pregnant again at 22. And during my pregnancy was again abused. I was slammed up against the wall by my neck. You name it, it happened. I thank God that it all came to front and I was able to get away. The only reason why I was able to get away is because he found somebody else to abuse and to take his whatever it is out on. So he did leave. During the next year, and this is a little bit of a sensitive topic, which is why I actually left the room where my kids were. During the next year, we had found out my son was having a really, really hard time with discipline and listening and was acting not age appropriate. And now a lot of people will say, well, what's age appropriate for 4 years old, right? Well, what's age appropriate, not age appropriate for 4 years old is he didn't want to go to the bathroom. He didn't want to go in the bathroom by himself. He didn't want to go into the shower by himself. He had a hard time using the bathrooms. He was pooping his pants all the time. He was having accidents when you shouldn't be having accidents. And the final, what is going on is when he tried to jump off a third-story deck at 5 years old. Luckily, I was able to grab him as he scaled over the railing. It was a very scary moment. I had to stay calm. But at that moment, we brought my child into Boston, into a full psychiatric lockdown ward at 5 years old, and found out that not only was my child having a difficulty with life in general, but that he was abused by his father. So as you can imagine, this set off a tremendous amount of anger and frustration and guilt, and I turned to food tremendously during this time. I didn't know any other way to deal with it. I was angry. I didn't understand how somebody could do this to their own child. I didn't understand why somebody would do this to their own child. And what makes it even worse is my ex-husband was charged with 23 counts of child molestation while we were married, and I paid to get him off because I thought it was a vindictive act on his son's mom's behalf. So it was presented to me, and I paid, and my family paid $50,000 to get him out of prison, and then defended him. So here we are, fast forward 3 years later, and I find out that my own child was abused by his father. So why does this play an important role in my journey as a person? Because for many years, from the age that I was 25 to 32, I succumbed to what happened to me and to what happened to my kid, and let all of that dictate my life. And if I get emotional, I'm sorry. I let it overtake me. I let it take over the way I parented my kids. I let it consume me to the point that I drank heavily. I drank myself to sleep every single night. I would lay in the bathtub with a glass of wine, and that one glass turned into 6 glasses and turned into 7 glasses. And I would pray, and I kid you not, I prayed that I would fall asleep and slide under the water because I didn't know how to deal with it. And I remember one night saying to my child, Joshua, who, why do you say this to a kid that you just found out that he was abused? I woke up and I was like, if mom ever doesn't wake up, just call 911, please. I said this, excuse the French, I said this to a freaking 7-year-old. Are you scared seriously? How do you say that to a 7-year-old? You know, so life sucked. And I became a victim of my circumstances. And most people would. I mean, how could you not? Right? How could you not? How could you not become that? So I went on this way for a good, 8 years, 7, 8 years. By the time I was 25 was when I found out that Joshua had been abused. And all the way to the age of 32, I packed on a good 100 pounds. I was an upward of 250 pounds, size 20. I was eating everything under the sun, but I didn't think I was. And now anybody that has a food addiction will completely relate to this little story right here. Vienna fingers are like the best cookie ever under the sun. I'm sorry if you guys like cookies and you like vanilla. Vienna fingers are like the bomb.com, right? So I would go buy these Vienna fingers and I would put them in the cabinet. But I wasn't a compulsive eater because I would only go to the cabinet and I would only take out 3 to 4 cookies at a time. I would never bring the entire bag back to the couch. But yet I'd go back to the cabinet 10 times and I'd eat the entire bag. But it never registered to me that was a problem because I never brought the bag with me. Compulsive eating. And you do that with everything. I did that with, you name it, I did it, right? I did it with fruit. I did it with chips. I did it with ice cream. You put some into a bowl and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's okay. Go back and get some more. You're not overeating because you're only putting in a small amount at one time. It's the way your mind thinks when you're a compulsive eater. So I did this. And over the course of, that 7 years, I gained a tremendous amount of weight. And I wasn't myself. I was depressed. I was suicidal, like I said. And I knew that something had to change. And I'll never forget because my mom, and during this whole time, just to let you know, I'm very successful in my career. I'm an IT professional. I'm very educated. And I always have been. At no point in time during this entire time did I ever not have a job. I was never on state assistance. I never relied on anybody but myself. I climbed the ladder. So I was very confident success as far as my career is concerned. But I hated the person that I was. So you can do both of that. So everybody thinks that, you got to be both. Not true. You can be one and the other. So I will never forget, my mom wanted to take Christmas pictures. Good Lord, just what you want to do when you're like a size 20, right? Take pictures. Fantastic. So she put us, all the family members, in this like seated position, and the kids were on the chair and I was behind the chair. And I remember standing behind the chair when she took the picture thinking, oh God, this would be great. She's not going to see my body. Awesome. This will work. Well, what do you know? Half of my hip was sticking out. When she gave us the pictures, I was like, holy shit, who the hell is that? And it was me. And my eyes were so dark and I was lifeless. I didn't recognize the person that I was at all. There was nothing. It was like looking into someone who had died. And I was 32 years old. And I looked probably like I was 40, 45. No, actually, I look better now because I'm 40 now. But, you know, I looked like I was aged probably 20 years. It was mind-blowing to me. I had these beautiful children with these great teeth and these beautiful eyes. And there I was, lifeless in the back. And I said, oh, you know what? If I don't do something about this, not only are my kids not going to have a father, but my kids aren't going to have a mom. And that was legit the truth. If I didn't do something about it, I was going to be dead within 10 years. So, of course, what do? I get on the elliptical machine, right? I brought this thing up from the basement, up 3 flights of stairs, and brought it into my bedroom. And I thought that I was going to cardio my way back to health. Here I was. And I would sit on that damn elliptical machine for like an hour, sometimes an hour and a half for every day. And I'm like, this is going to work. This is going to work. This is going to work. If you guys, that thing sucks. It's probably why I hate the elliptical machine now. I hate it. But I lost like 6 pounds. 6! In like 2 months. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was so bullshit. I was like, this is nuts. And then I have my brother, which you guys probably don't know because he's kind of left the Beachbody business. But I have Keith Callahan. If you guys don't know who Keith Callahan is, you probably should, because he's $1 million earner. He's pretty much a bomb.com when it comes to Beachbody success stories. So Keith Callahan's my cousin, and Mark and him are doing this thing called P90X, right? This thing, a PX90, what everybody called it, P90X. And I will never forget that they were getting shredded. I mean, freaking shredded. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something like that. No, maybe I won't. So I put it to the back burner. Thought about it, but put it to the back burner. But in the meanwhile, they started launching the coaching business. This is right around 2010. 2010. So they started the whole coaching business, and now the two of them are calling me. So here's your persistency, people. When we're talking about coaching, be persistent. Be nice, but be persistent. They called me or text me like every 4 days. And I swear they had a cycle. That one would text me on one day, and then the next one would text me on the next day. Hey, Kim. Because there was no challenge packs back in the day. You all have it easy right now. We didn't have any coaching material, nothing. We just said, go for it. Do your thing. So they called me, and they're like, we have this thing that you got to try. And I'm like, no. And they're like, no, really, we have this thing. It's going to be life-changing. I'm like, yeah, okay. Just like Nutrisystem and Weight Watchers and the cookie diet and the cabbage diet and the eat all this and drink all that diet. No, I've done them all. I'm not doing it. Oh, come on, just do it. No, I'm not doing it. Now, I swear, and I swear to the day, I must have ate pancakes this morning because I was happy when my cousin Keith called me. I must have eaten something good. And he says to me, all right, Kim, they have a money-back guarantee. I'm like, oh, here's my score right here. I'm like, this stuff's $100 a month. There's no way I can afford this. No way. But if it has a money-back guarantee, I can buy it and then return it and quit, and they'll never bother me again. That was exactly what I said to him. I said, fine, I'll buy it, but I'm going to return it. and then you can't call me again. And he's like, that's fine. So that was 7 years ago, and not a Shakeology shipment missed. So persistency pays off. So I get the Shakeology in the mail, and I'm all stoked, and I do. So Shakeology just, I'm totally dating myself right now. Shakeology used to come with what's called the Shakeology workouts. You guys know Ali Batan? She's in Turbo Fire. Some of you may know her. Some of you, she's a turbo girl. Nonetheless, she was in these Shakeology videos, which had a white background set, and then they had green rubber bands and green hand weights, and they were in green and white outfits. I kid you not. I did these Shakeology workouts for like 6 weeks, and I lost almost 15 pounds by drinking Shakeology and doing Shakeology workouts. So I was like, all right, well, I guess this is the time to step it up. And it was, what's the holiday in May? Memorial Day, right? I always get those two backs mixed up. So I'm sitting at my parents' house on Memorial Day, and I got Keith on one side of me and Mark on the other side of me, and it totally shredded up. And I say to them, I'm going to do P90X. And my cousin looks at me. He goes, oh, Kim, that's a really good idea. Now, if you know Keith, this is going to make total sense. That's a great idea, Kim. Good idea. My brother's like, that's not smart. Not good. Not a good idea, Kim. And Keith's like, no, yes, it is. Mark's like, no, seriously, she's not going to be able to do it. And she's done good for the past month and a half. Let's not derail her, please. No, Mark, I really think that she should do it. Keith, shut up. She's not doing it. And at that moment in time, when he said to me, she's not doing it, she can't do it, I basically flipped the dude off and was like, screw you. Screw you. You just said I couldn't do it, and now I'm going to do it. So I ordered P90X. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Has anybody done P90X? I can't see your hand, so I'm not sure if anybody really has done it. But if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. So, you should do it. If you haven't done it, you need to do it. Even though it's old, it's unbelievable. So I get this thing in the mail, and I rip the package open. Like, I'm stoked. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And the first workout is called Core Synergistics. Holy shit. It was awful. Not only was it awful, but they have this thing called the Drea roll, where you have to like sit on the floor, roll yourself all the way back, and then roll yourself back to your feet and then stand up. I was 250 pounds. I was a size 20. I couldn't touch the floor, never mind get on the floor and roll back on the floor, put my feet over my head. No. The Drea roll was not happening. Yes, Drea Rubber. So I was like, you know what? I was so discouraged. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do 90% of what they did in this Core Synergistics video. But you know what? I did it. I didn't stop. I didn't hit pause. I just did what I could do. And it sucked. And it hurt. And I cried. And it was awful. But I said to myself on that day, this is the first time in your life, Kim, that you're not going to give up on you. This is not about anybody but yourself. And you're not going to do this. You're not going to give up. You're going to do whatever you need to do to make this happen. I did push-ups against a wall. Not on the ground, not on your knees, against a wall. Because I couldn't get on the floor to do them. I used hand weights, 2.5 pound hand weights. I used bands. You know, I cried. Like I said, I broke fingernails. I slapped myself in the face with a band multiple times. But you don't stop. You just keep on going and keep on going. And you want to know what? Those 90 days were torture. They were hell. Ab Ripper X? You mean Ab Ripper, I can't do any of these moves X? Couldn't do any of them, but I tried. Even though it says 25 reps, I did 2. I did 3. The next time I did 4. The next time I did 5. But those 90 days, in those first 90 days, I lost almost 40 pounds. In 90 days. So what are you going to do? You do it again. So I did 3 rounds of P90X to start my journey and lost over 80 pounds in the first, 90, 180, almost year that I was with Beachbody. I didn't even know what coaching was. I signed up as a coach just because I got a discount. And because I shared my journey on this crazy thing called Facebook, which I didn't even know how to use, people were like, wow, what's she doing? They naturally gravitated to me being real with them, to me sharing that, you know what, I suck at push-ups. You know what, I struggle with food. You know what, that plyo jump over there, I can't do that. I can't get both feet off the ground, but I can get one. And I share that all with them. Not only did I share the bad stuff, but I shared the good stuff too of, you know what, I'm on day 37 of 90. I posted every day. I was that woman that was posting about her workouts all the time. I didn't care if you liked me, you didn't like me, you were unblocking me, unfriending me. I didn't give 2 shits. Because I was getting messages from people saying, because of you, I'm starting to work on me. That one message that you get from somebody, think about the impact that you're having on their life. Who gives a shit about the other 500 people? And I'm sorry if I'm swearing much. I have a tendency when I speak, I swear. Who cares? If they want to unfriend you, let them unfriend you. You know what I mean? If you impact one person's life, you have made a difference. So because of all this whole P90X shenanigans, I decided to enter my little name into this thing called an infomercial with Tony Horton. And I went through the whole process. And I was a finalist for P90X. And I went to this thing called a Super Saturday. It wasn't even called Super Saturday when we started. It was called a game plan event. Game plan. That's what it was called. And it was just a whole bunch of people attending this game plan event. We had no idea what the heck we were doing. Not even kidding you. There was no themes. There was no music. There was no guest, speakers from corporate. It was just a whole bunch of people in one room talking about how Beachbody has affected their lives. So my cousin says to me, Kim, tell your story. Tell them how you did this whole 90 days. So I get up there and I was completely taken aback. And I joined this, in front of these people that I've never seen before. And who is sitting in the front row but Kit Horton? Kit Horton, Tony Horton's sister, is sitting in the flippin' front row as I'm about to tell my story. And not only Tony Horton's sister, but the person that he travels with frequently, which is Susan Lucy. So I'm freaking out. But I tell my story, not a dry eye in the house. People are bawling hysterically. I'm bawling hysterically. And I thought that was it. And Kit came up to me afterwards and she hugged me. And she said how great it was and that she was so proud that I had found Tony through P90X. And I thought that would be the end of it, right? Well, what do you know? I get a message from one of Tony's people that he is going to be appearing on a show and wanted to pass my name along. Would that be okay? So I said, sure. Well, that was Dr. Oz. So I was able to go on live TV with Dr. Oz and Tony Horton, and it was incredible. And that's when it all blew up for me. My sharing my story launched this amazing adventure. And I realized how many more lives I could impact. And at that moment in time, I said to myself, Kim, it is now your mission in life to share your story with others so that they can get over depression and anxiety and fear of being alone, because they're not alone anymore. They're not. So it is your mission to go out there and help people every single day. Share your story. And that's what I did. I shared it every single day. And people started following. And then that dream became bigger. It became bigger than me. It became about you. It became about everybody. It became about how can I impact people even more? Well, how do I do that? I set a goal so big that it's almost unimaginable. So I decided I was going to become a fitness competitor. And I was going to become one of the first people with the WBFF to step on stage with losing over 100 pounds naturally. One of the first. So I prepared for this for 2 years. For those of you that are preparing for the Body Beast Challenge, I prepared for my show for 2 years. So you guys got this. Trust me, you got it. You got a great leader in Ariel. She knows what she's talking about. Listen to her. She's done this before. You'll be good. So for 2 years, I prepped for this show. Crazy, right? I dieted. I kid you not. I dieted for 27 weeks for my first show. And that was with a year and a half prior to that of journaling everything. I mean, everything. Pee, poop, how I felt before meals, how I felt after meals. Every meal, I weighed everything, you name it. I took my food places that you probably shouldn't be taking food, but I snuck it in anyway. Crazy. So I announced it. Of course I'm going to announce it, right? I've shared my journey with all these people up to this point. Why the hell wouldn't I announce this? So I did this huge thing about I'm going to become a fitness competitor, and I gave myself 1 year. I announced it in 2013, and I said in 2014 I will step on stage as a fitness and a figure competitor for the first time. Busted my tail for that entire year. And when I say busted my tail, I mean busted my tail. I brought food to Christmas. I brought food to Thanksgiving. I brought food on planes. I brought food in cars. I traveled for the last 8 weeks of my competition prep for my first show for work. When I say traveled, I mean I drove to Jersey. I drove to Jersey every week. I stayed in hotels. Did you know that if you ask a hotel if you can use their kitchen, you can? They will let you. They may even give you pans. But I brought my pans with me. I brought free weights with me. I brought a bench with me. If I had to get on a plane, I packed all of my food into a 6-pack fitness bag. I packed all my dry stuff into a suitcase. You name it, I excuse busted it. And you can too. Share that journey with people. Let them know that you're doing all of this stuff. Because it works. They didn't have cardio equipment. So what did I do? I made cardio out of the stairs. 2 steps at a time. Do you know how much cardio 2 steps at a time is? It's a lot. If they didn't have weights, I found a gym. Any excuse can be busted. Anything. I struggled with food during this time. I will never, ever, ever forget. I was driving my son to school, and the Kind granola bars. Does anybody love the Kind granola bars? They're like bomb. They're great. He dropped out of his bag, and it was on the floor. And I remember driving to work and having a panic attack in the car because I wanted that damn granola bar so bad. Literally cried in the car because I could taste the granola bar in my mouth, and I was so afraid of if I ate that food, that granola bar, what it was going to do to me mentally. That is how strong a food addiction is. It's crazy. It was unbelievable. No, Josh, sorry. So any excuse that is out there, you can overcome it. If you think that they're looking at you because you're carrying your food around, they're not. If you think that they're looking at you because you have a gallon of water in your hand, they're not. If you think they're judging you because you're working out at home, they're not. If you think that they're judging you because you're running down the street but you're not really a great runner, they're not. You want to know what they're doing? They're saying, I wish I had the courage to do what they're doing. I wish I had the courage to bring my food to places that it's socially not acceptable to bring your food to. I wish I had the courage to carry around water every single day. I wish I had the strength to pick myself up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what they're thinking. Not that they're not judging you. They're thinking and they're wishing they could be doing what you're doing. So remember that. Remember that when you're on your journey, and that when it sucks at 4 a.m., remember the impact that you're not only making for yourself, but that you're impacting on other people. So for those 52 weeks of that year and that 26 weeks of dieting that I did, it was incredible. I learned more about myself, but you know what? That second that I stepped on that stage and became a fitness competitor for the first time was a moment that nobody could ever take back from me. Ever. Nobody can ever take that from me. And I will never forget that the DJ or the mic, he's great. His name is Bricks. He's phenomenal. As I was about to walk off the stage, he said to me, Kim, I need you to come back. And I said, well, why do you need me to come back? I'm thinking here to myself, oh my God, Freddie, just let me get off this stage, right? Let me get out of here. This is crazy. I mean, there's like 500 people in the audience. And he brings me back to the stage and he tells my story. Brief story, brief about it, what I had gone through and the amount of weight I had lost. And people stood up and clapped. And he said, if this woman, who is a single mom of 2 kids, who's been to hell and back, can do this, you all can do this. And I cried like I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to think. And then off the little stage I went, and it was hard to get out of the theater that night because people stopped me and they asked questions. And people that I met on that night, I'm still friends with on Facebook. Still, because I continue to share my journey. So did I place that show? I didn't place that show. I decided to do another show, but I not only decided to do it for me this time, it was to do it for every single one of those people in the audience that said that I had just changed their life. People legit come up to me and said, you being here tonight changed my life. I'm not going to give up on me. So it was a whole different ballgame the second time around. It was winning it for you all, winning it for them. And I did. I won second, third in that show. And that's when it all changed for me. Because I was there and I was excited. And I knew that I could take it to the next level and help even more people. And that's when life crashed down on me again. And this is going to be hard because 10 weeks after my last show, I started to lose mobility in my shoulder. And then that progressed to my legs and my other arm and eventually my torso. And then I lost the ability to swallow. Within 3 months of me being on stage at a 9% body fat, I could no longer lift my hand to brush my teeth or to brush my hair. Doctors had no idea what was the matter with me. None. I was still trying to work out. I was still trying to eat right, but I could barely move. and I was admitted to the hospital, had some testing done, and found out I have a very, very rare autoimmune disease called dermatomyositis. 2,500 people in the United States have my disease. There is not a single patient at Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital in Boston that is like me. Not one. There is not a single case that is a female of my age and in my physical state. They've never seen this before. They didn't even know how to treat me. Didn't know how. I began a heavy course of prednisone. And when I say heavy, I mean 80 milligrams of prednisone. It's a lot. And not just for like a day. I'm talking months. A typical respiratory infection, you get 10 milligrams. So if you can do the math there and how it affects you, it's crazy. It's a complete mind screw. So I began prednisone. I also began low-dose chemotherapy to try to suppress my immune system. And I also have to take a nerve blocker because the pain is so great in my muscles. So dermatomyositis is a muscle degenerative disease where your muscles will be eaten by themselves. So your body attacks itself. It also attacks your skin. And you get this phenomenal, glorious red rash everywhere, on your face, on your hands. Probably can't see it, but I have a nice big piece right there. So for the next 6 months, so that happened in September of 2014. So from September to 2014 to about February of 15, I was fighting for my life. Fighting. But I never gave up. I never, ever, ever gave up. I remembered Tony Horton, and I say it. He would say in P90X, do your best and forget the rest. Do your best and forget the rest. Do your best and forget the rest. And I thought about that every single day. Kim, do your best and forget the rest. Try to brush your teeth. Try to brush your hair. But when your 15-year-old son literally has to dry your hair, it's really, really hard. But at that time, I knew that the only way for me to heal was to continue to do the things that got me where I was. And that was to continue to eat well, continue to prep my food, continue to try to work out. I had to take several weeks off because obviously if you can't walk, you kind of can't exercise. So when I finally was able to stand up on my own and without without much difficulty, the problem I had was when you stand up and you walk, your legs would give out. So I was falling a lot. I was working through all of this too. So I have to hold myself together somehow to work and take care of my kids and my dog. And I said, all right, it's time to start at the beginning again. It's time to start with Body Beast again. Now, I had already done Body Beast multiple times preparing for my competitions because that's how I prepped for them. Well, that was bad. I could not lift my arms above my head. So this wasn't lifting up weights in Body Beast. This was literally lifting my hands and simulating the movements to try to get my range of motion back. And I did eventually over time. I thought I was good, and I relapsed 6 months after, and right back to square one. This happened 4 times over the course of the last 2.5 years, where I've been sick. I've had to, regain my strength. I've had to go back to, what I knew best, which was where I started 7 years ago. I went from being completely on the top of the world, looking the best I had ever looked, to basically like a wet noodle. I mean, literally a wet noodle. My head bobbled on my shoulders. I thought I was going to die one night where it's a muscle degenerative disease. It can attack your heart and your lungs. I could not lay down straight because my tongue would slide back into my throat and I would choke on it. So I have a bed that adjusts, and I would lift my head so that my tongue wouldn't choke me. And I remember sitting in my bed and going, God, please, if you're going to take me, just take care of my kids. And I sat and I laid with my rosary bead because I was so afraid. And I woke up the next day, obviously, I'm still here. And I fought. And I fought for every single one of the people that doesn't believe in themselves. I fought for those who thinks that they're worthless. I fought for those who are being abused. I fought for those who are in such a deep, dark place that they don't know how to get out of it. And I continue to fight for those people every single day. And I fight for those people through my story and through my journey and through my sharing on Facebook. And I 100% wholeheartedly believe that if Beachbody had never been brought to my life, I would be dead today. That's hands down what you all can do for people. No questions about it. It happened for me. It can happen for the people that you all are inspiring too. Today is a different day for me. I am somewhat in remission. I relapsed again in November, but I work out every day. I will not allow my doctors to dictate what I do. I'm not supposed to work out. They're like, nobody works out with your disease because they can't. I'm like, well, screw you all. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm working out. And not only am I working out, I'm working out hard freaking core. If you ever want to work out together, feel free. Let me know. You know, but it's not just working out. I've learned through Beachbody how to prep my food. I've learned through, I mean, you guys got it easy now. I'm telling you. We didn't have all this stuff that you guys had when I learned back in the day. You guys have challenge packs. You got nutrition guides. You got the 21-day fix in the containers. We were like, the nutrition guides, if you ever look at the original P90X nutrition guide, you guys would probably be like, what the hell is this? It was confusing. But because of all that, I learned. I didn't have a choice. You know, I learned how to eat better. I learned how to portion. I learned how to journal. I learned how to learn what my body likes. And that today kept me alive. And it still does to this day. We are proving the doctors wrong on so many levels. It's really not even funny. Actually, proved them wrong today. I knew something wasn't right. You put me on an adrenal suppressant for 2.5 years, but you don't test my adrenals? What do you know? A month ago, my DHEA was in the tank. They didn't know how to deal with it. I researched it myself, found out how to handle it, took it all over and above them, had my labs drawn today. What do you know? My hormones are back to where they're supposed to be. But would I have known how to do this stuff without being presented with the opportunity 7 years ago? Probably not. It's a domino effect. So everything that you guys are doing today is a domino effect. Your journey is impacting other people. So don't ever, ever, ever forget that. And also don't ever forget this awesome, awesome phrase my mother used to say to me all the time. And still says it to this day. You will never see it unless you see it. No, hold on. Let me take that back. You will never see it unless you see it. You will never see it until you see it. Oh, crap. I don't remember it. You put me on the spot. I should have wrote it down. It'll come back to me. But nonetheless, it's basically the meaning of you'll never see it until you see it unless you see it. Meaning that you have to see where your future is going to go before it'll ever get there. That's like having a plan. Without having a plan, it's just a wish, right? Having a dream without a plan is just a wish. You can say to yourself every single day, I'm going to be a 5-star diamond with Beachbody. But if you don't have a plan to get there, guess what, sister? You're not getting there. You got to have a plan. You got to see it before you see it, or you never see it. You have to see it before you see it, or you never see it. There it is. Remembered. So anyway, that is my story with Beachbody. It's my story about overcoming life's obstacles. I didn't cry, which is good. That's probably the first time that that's happened. You can be thrown a whole bunch of lemons in life. Stick them in the damn freezer and throw back. Seriously, throw hard. Chuck those lemons and prove everybody wrong. Because you can do it. And everything that you're doing today is impacting somebody else. Remember that. I don't care who the haters are. I don't care who's saying it's a scam. I don't care who's saying you look stupid working out at home. Why don't you just go to a gym where all the other people are? I've heard it. I've heard it all. I mean, I work out in a gym now because that's my solitude. It's a single parent of 2 teenagers. I need a little bit of time by myself. So that's where I go. And I also now teach people at the gym, you know, so it's my way to also give back to the community. Does anybody have any questions? No? Ariel?
Well, that was amazing. And, you know, you and I are friends. And I mean, I know some of your story, but I did not know a lot, you know, a couple of parts of it. So I thank you for letting us in. You know, it's definitely not easy. You know, and it's nice to see like somebody like yourself that's doing, you know, what makes her happy, but is able to attribute it back to Beachbody, because I think a lot of the coaches get very wrapped up in it and are just Beachbody, 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 and forget to be themselves and forget to do what makes them happy. And I think, you know, the fact that Beachbody is doing what they're doing with the All Demand is just trying to show you that, like, it just needs to be fitness. Whatever works for that person, they're giving people the options. And it's okay to kind of branch off and do your thing that makes you happy, as long as you're still kind of sharing your journey with others. And that will maybe give them the confidence to kind of start somewhere, even if it is just starting in their home, and then who knows where it's going to take them. I think that's the greatest thing about this business. And I mean, I can kind of attest to that with you. I mean, once I was ready to start opening the doors and being open to things happening, and I remember going to Super Saturdays, and I remember seeing you up on stage, and I remember seeing you do like Turbo Fire and all that, and seeing people and being like, well, why the hell not me? Why not? Why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And, you know, I kind of took the same route as you, and I had no intention of going with this where I went. It took me kind of down somewhat of the same path, but like doors have opened for me too. And I think the biggest thing though, and it sounds like with you too, is like that you kind of found yourself through all of this. Like fitness and competitions can seem very, very vain and can seem very self-centered, because it does take a lot. It does take a lot of focus on yourself, on your nutrition, on your body, on your training. But like you said, it's something that no one can ever take from you. And getting off that stage, whether you had a trophy or not, you still did something that you never thought that you could do. And I think that's pretty freaking cool. So
absolutely. I think there was a question, Ariel. I can't see them.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Everyone's just saying how badass you are. Because of your dramatic life-changing weight loss, do you ever feel that a slip will bring you right back there?
Oh, yeah. Scary shit every day. Ariel and I talk about it all the time. You know, I absolutely still struggle with things every single day. As far as a slip and as far as food is concerned, that is a very, very, very interesting relationship that you need to learn to embrace yourself. And how you do that is honestly finding out what your triggers are. I tell people all the time, the only way that you will ever overcome food and that your relationship with food will become healthy is for you to dig down into that deep, dark space that you have smashed everything that you have ever felt as far as hurt and pain or whatnot. It lives like in your hip bone. like you got to pull that all out and you got to deal with it. Because if you don't deal with that, then your relationship with food is going to be volatile. You have to do it. And is it scary? Sure. But you also have to still remember that you need to be human. And this not just goes for food and fitness, but this is life in general. You will never be perfect. Ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. And to think that you're going to be perfect on this fitness journey and that you're going to be perfect in coaching and that you're going to be perfect in anything in life is setting yourself up for failure. 100%. The most successful people in this world have failed more than all of us combined because they learn from it. They learn, they apply, they move on. So that's what you have to do. Yeah, absolutely. But slipping, listen, I tell people all the time, the people that I work with, if you slip and you go and have a donut, great. But that doesn't mean your whole day is wasted. Pick right back up. I will tell you right now, I am preparing for a competition. I had a bitch of a day. It was awful. And I had a moment. And I ate. Shit. I can't believe I'm telling you guys this.
Get it out there, girl. Get it out.
I ate 1, 2, 3, 4 mini Snickers, 2 mini Three Musketeers, 1, 2, 3, 3 mini Kit Kats.
Uh-oh. Mike just said he's telling Mike.
Well, I did an incredible leg workout because of it. I killed myself afterwards.
But you know what? Kim, I think this is important, and because it's like I tell a lot of my challengers this too. I'll ask them like, "Hey, how was your day? Get it off your freaking chest," because there's no need to bring that shit into the next day, because then it goes into the next day, into the next. Well, I fucked up this day. I sucked this day. I did this day, and it has the trifecta.
Phenomenal.
I'm like, get it off your chest. It is what it is, and just move on. So
Yeah.
I hope those candies were good.
They were.
And
and actually Shula does say to me all the time, he's like, you are the only person that can't keep a secret within yourself. I'm like, I know. But I did. I got to the gym and I did a nasty leg workout. I'll be lucky if I can walk for the next week. I mean, it was brutal. 2 hours later, but I still got my cardio in, and you know what? I still ate all my meals. So I fucked up in the middle of the day. But you know what? Does that mean that I'm going to go to McDonald's? Which I wouldn't do. But does that mean I'm going to go down to the pub and get a bacon double cheeseburger with sweet potato fries and 2-layer chocolate cake? No. That means I fucked up and move on. Mm-hmm. So just remember that. If you have a moment, you have a moment. Don't take it to heart. You're human. I'm looking at you, Katie, right now.
Yeah.
No, but what you said is true. It's like as soon as, you want to make these big changes, it's like everything from the past comes flying into the forefront.
Absolutely.
And, as much as you try to peel it back, you're still looking at the person you were. And that's my biggest struggle right now is myself.
She said, Kim, she's lost 55 pounds, but she still sees herself as 200 plus.
Yeah, I do too.
So it's normal?
Days that I look in the mirror and I see a 250-pound woman. It's very hard. And people are like, you're like a 6. I'm like, yeah, I am. But that body dysmorphia is real.
Yeah.
It is real. But just positive affirmations. Put them everywhere. Has anybody done my drill about writing on the mirror? These Sharpies? All right. Well, I'm going to give you all homework. Ariel, you got to hold them to this.
All right. You got it.
So I want you all to get a dry erase marker at some point in the next 48 hours. And I want you to go to the mirror that you look in every single day to get ready. And I want you to take that dry erase marker and I want you to put positive affirmations on that mirror. I love you. Okay? I want anything that you want. You need to cover that thing and you're going to sit in that mirror and you're not going to just read them. You need to say them out loud. And that is going to be really hard. Really, really, really hard for some people. So you're going to take pictures of it and you're going to post it in whatever team page that you all have. Actually, you don't even have to post it. Just send it to Ariel. But those positive affirmations will get you through some of the darkest of times. I am telling you, I had them everywhere. I had them in the refrigerator. I had them in the pantry. I had them in my wallet. I still have them everywhere. But you have to begin to say these things out loud to yourself in order to get through all of those things that you're talking about, all that stuff that the past, because you won't if you don't. And then if you're prepping for a show, shoot, I had it like a grid on my mirror with the number of weeks I had to go. So I stared at it every single day. I had, you will grow quads. You will win. You're going to take first. I didn't take first. But you know what I mean? Like, because when you step out there on that day, you're going to have all that in your head. And you are going to be like, I'm the shit. And you're going to own that stage. And you're going to make that stage your bitch. Oh, shoot. Sorry, little kid. I apologize. So anyway, anybody else?
No, that was amazing. Everyone is probably just, I think it helps to hear people say things like that, because there are times when you feel like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I putting myself out there? And like you said, you got to just start focusing on the people you're reaching and not the people that you think. I think a lot of it's in our head. That people are going to be like, oh, there's another Beachbody post. Oh, there's another this. We just assume everyone knows what Beachbody is. We just assume that everybody is going to say no. We just assume that everybody knows that their grandmother and their cat and their aunt do it. And I think we just need to stop assuming. And like I tell some of my challenges, it's like put somebody, like a picture. Like you said, that first person that hits you up and is like, because of you, I did this. Mm-hmm. Put their face there. So that way when you're making that post, it's going to them. It's not going to the naysayers. It's not going to the head shakers. It's not going to the eye rollers.
Right.
And I think that makes it a little bit easier. But to hear somebody like you talk about that, if it wasn't for Beachbody, if it wasn't, God only knows where you would be. And that hurts my heart. But you're here and we love you. So
I love you.
Beachbody. All right. Well, I know that you have a long day, so thank you so much for getting on this call. I really, really appreciate it. And everyone, friend Kim, and just yeah.
And watch me kick this sucker thing in the ass. I'm telling you, I'm done with being sick.
Yep.
Everybody have a good time. If you need any advice or help with the show, let me know.
Kim, somebody had mentioned maybe doing like a call for the classic. I think that would be a great idea. So we'll work that out.
Sure.
For people, just to kind of talk about like what to expect, prep, and all that stuff. Maybe a little bit further in the month, we'll set that up. Or even.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
All right. See you Friday.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Good night. Thank you for getting on.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to go eat now.
All right, girl.